On this episode of Video Fashion News, we're bringing you a stylish mix of 2021 spring collections from around the world. In Johannesburg, South African label Art Club and Friends stays close to home.
Our collection is called Here. It's my attempt at capturing the zeitgeist of everything that's happened this year. A big part of that was working with local manufacturers to create all of our accessories.
The Budapest Select show brings together 6 Hungarian brands on the runway at Milan Fashion Week. See the highlights from Kaviar Gauche Bridal and Cioccolato Couture swimwear. Lukhanyo Mdingi focuses on sustainable design.
What it comes down to, it's mindfulness and consideration. I think if you have those two values within your business, you really are cognizant of focusing on the people that you're working with, the raw materials that you're working with, and also just the consumers.
Plus, we look back at South African Fashion Week's Fashion Fusion project to learn how the organization has always been committed to sustainability. All that and more on Video Fashion News.
Our collection is called Here. It's a reminder to stay present, and it's also, I think, my attempt at capturing the zeitgeist of everything that's happened this year. A big part of that was working with local manufacturers to create all of our accessories, because I'm really passionate about proving that we can make everything beautifully locally. We don't need to look elsewhere for this kind of quality that we've been able to produce. So our necklace is handmade our necklaces and jewelry are handmade in Cape Town. Our shoes are hand stitched here in Johannesburg, and our bags are also manufactured in Cape Town. And yeah, all local. This year, we've introduced a new color, which is royal blue. It's the color we've decided to make our brand's official color going forward. And the reason we've chosen it is that blue often represents sadness, it represents coldness and loss, and a lot of that is what we went through this year. But we wanted to reclaim the color, and when people see it associated with our brand, we wanted to kind of rather give the feeling of creativity and innovation and courage, and we're really excited to be introducing it into our collection this year. Art Club and Friends is a unisex brand. We don't gender our collections. The reason we've made this decision is through my own fashion journey, I've always shopped in the various sections of a store, and I've always felt it's very restricting to only be able to shop in one section. So for many of our customers, we feel that we create pieces that we love and don't want to confine them into a box, which is kind of what gendering a collection does. And yeah, we feel that it gives them even more room to express themselves without any confines. Our approach to sustainability is something that is ever-changing and ever-evolving. This year we really focused on treating our materials like very precious resources and making the best out of what we had already in-house in our studio. So many of the garments you see are upcycled. We used offcuts, we used fabrics that we had to try and challenge us, and also just to encourage us to not get into the habit of discarding pieces that weren't used in previous collections. So that's maybe why our collection looks a little bit different, but it's something we're really excited about because it creates a very unique aspect to every piece we make. This year, the song that we used for our collection, we actually made from scratch. My partner is a musician, and he very kindly helped me write a song that I felt encapsulated our collection. It features many of my close friends, mentors, friends of the brand, and they sent us voice notes just talking about their experiences this year. And it just it's made this collection one I think I'll never forget.
Six Hungarian fashion labels showed their Spring 2021 collections on the runway at Milan Fashion Week as part of a partnership between the Hungarian Fashion and Design Agency and the National Chamber of Italian Fashion. ELYSIAN presented a collection inspired by the Hungarian landscape, particularly Lake Balaton and Kali Basin, where the designer grew up. The light and airy collection was influenced by the region's sun, colors, and summer breeze. Contemporary label Kukovi looked to warrior women for spring inspiration. Dark post-apocalyptic tones were contrasted with vibrant, optimistic colors. The collection had a futuristic sensibility, with garments that were equal parts functional, innovative, and bold. The brother and sister team behind the label Moreau honed in on their brand's values of durability, timelessness, and self-identity. The collection was serene and feminine, giving the Moreau woman a timeless look with a hint of mystery. KATA SZEGEDI pulled from memories of the last 10 years for their Spring 2021 collection, infusing the bittersweet and eclectic spirit of Budapest into each piece. The design duo set out to create wearable sculptures full of passion for a collection that was artful and edgy. The four brought innovative techniques and surprising fabric combinations to a collection that aimed to imbue the wearer with strength and resilience. The runway was playful and fresh, embracing technique and technology, as well as an eclectic spirit. Last but not least, Abodi designer Dora Abodi was inspired by her grandparents' research into the folk culture of Cioccolato, a village in Transylvania. The designer referenced art pieces, ceramics, and embroidery she had collected. Prints paid tribute to her grandparents' folk art documentation, and patterns were drawn from Transylvanian ornaments and motifs.
Is this collection any different from the previous? I would have to say it's an extension from what we've created in the past. The true provenance of what we do is that we're always looking at the essentials and we're always looking at our archives. And that stems from really trying to execute of what good design means to us, because that's what inspired us. It's really being mindful of those who are working with us. It's being mindful of the execution and the delivery of the garments and how they're made, and just making sure that we're constantly excelling and doing better than what we've done in the past. The idea is to not sway too away from what our truth is, and really focusing on everyday basics and the essentials and executing it in a way where it's constantly exceptional and making sure that it's always tastefully done. The reason of having a sustainable business and why it's so important to us is what it comes down to, it's mindfulness and consideration. I think if you have those two values within your business, you really are cognizant of focusing on the people that you're working with, the raw materials that you're working with, and also just the consumers that are eventually investing in the pieces that are within your label. Our relationship with mohair actually began around about 2.5 to 3 years ago with the South African Mohair Cluster, and what they've done with SA Fashion Week with this remarkable competition has really been incredible, because it's helped to yield myself and the other two selected designers and really informed us a lot more about what mohair is and how it's a industry that's far beyond than just the yarns themselves, but also really harnessing communities and as well as mohair farming. Our studio is based in Cape Town, which has been such a great advantage for us. There's such a strong, rich history of manufacturing within the whole Cape Town space, and being part of that space and also being part of that community has really helped shape the business to where it is today, because of the ingenuity and as well as the experience that so many of the tailors and the seamstresses and the pattern makers have, because of the long line of history of clothing and manufacturing within Cape Town. What are the challenges of building a responsible business in fashion? I would have to say finding the right partnerships and the right people, because I believe if you have a good community and cabinet of collaborators and as well as a team, essentially that's the only way that one is able to reach their full potential. And reaching their full potential is actually having a sustainable business and having something that's really strong and steady. So I would have to say that is the biggest challenge, finding the right key people that are your allies. What is it about fashion that excites me? I would have to say just the constant change that's inevitable. I think it's exactly that notion that just keeps you going and it keeps the momentum just constantly at a high.
Started by Lucilla Boysen, the director of Sandlam South Africa Fashion Week, the Fashion Fusion Project endeavors to make craft a sustainable part of the South African fashion economy by pairing contemporary designers with regional craftspeople.
Well, I say it's the best thing I've done in my life, and it really is. 4 years ago, we started fusing crafters with designers, and we find the crafters in each province. They literally bring everything to us, everything that they do, because essentially we want to keep what they have, and we want to just fuse it and tweak it so that it becomes fashion.
Your ordinary crafters from the rural areas, women who are just doing their stitching, their beading, their applique, and we link them with professional designers and they feed off each other. They learn a lot from each other. This year, what's most exciting is that the product, it's looking much more fashionable and each year it's getting better.
Designers are thrilled with the collaboration.
You get to meet all the crafters, you get to see what they do, and you get to select then people you want to work with and that you feel are right for your look. And we did, and I found a wonderful group of women who are very passionate about what they do. And it's a really nice way to kind of use a local skill in the collection, but just give it a fashion edge. And I think that's what's been missing from sort of South African fashion for a while.
Particularly in Orange Free State within South Africa, we have crafters who crochet and we're using these ancient crafts within our garments. And on some of the pieces we've had 6 women work on one piece. So every piece to me is very special and our heart and soul have really gone into each piece.
And everything in the show has all been produced locally. It's all been produced in Durban by local crafters. We've been working with the crafters from Umlazi, just outside of Durban. Leah, she's not here, she's somewhere. She's like a 70-year-old crafter. She was taught many, many years ago, and she's done a lot of the clothing. You can see all the hand stitching and stuff, the beading, all the wallet chains, and she's done all that for us. So it's been a really cool project, you know, giving back. Yeah.
The project not only preserves traditional knowledge, but gives rural artisans a place in the modern marketplace.
Sustainability is crucial for us because, you know, it's their life. So it has to alleviate poverty for them. It has to create job because these skills, you know, it's not like making an order in China and doing 1,000 things. It's handmade. And I think that is what makes it so South African and proudly South African. Most of the crafters, they've learned their skills, you know, from their mothers, from their grandmothers, so it's really indigenous knowledge. That for us is really our pride. It's that kind of heritage.
We have great respect for that tradition. I think that is one of the most important things in a country, is the respect and the nurturing of your tradition. And that is really our strength. That combined with our diversity is really our future.
For Spring 2021, Studio 1X1 paid tribute to what matters to people, whether it be life, love, or something else entirely. The brand's philosophy of embodying the wearer's uniqueness while respecting the planet was the focus of the season. Designer Yi-Ling Kuo pursued sustainability without compromising aesthetics. The collection felt both of and out of this world, with futuristic materials and a dose of fantasy infused into the wearable, contemporary pieces. This was a collection that celebrated individuality in all of its fluidity, colors, and joyfulness. That's a wrap on this episode of Video Fashion News. Tune in next time for another fashion experience.